At 5:44 p.m., I'm going to call this meeting to order. Southeast Overtown Parkway, CRA, December 16th. I'm sorry, this says it should be December 29th. Meeting. Noting the presence of Commissioner Sarnoff, Commissioner Gort, Commissioner Suarez, myself, Chairman, Commissioner Hardeman. The first thing we'd like to do is just approve the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the regular minutes? Second. It's been properly moved by Commissioner Sarnoff and seconded by Commissioner Suarez to approve the agenda meetings from September 30th and October 27th, 2014. Is there any unreadiness? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. The first agenda item that we want to make sure that we discuss is the Overtown Music and Arts Festival. These gentlemen have 5 minutes to address the body to make their presentation. I believe there's a video presentation that should come forward. So if they're here, please come now.
Good evening, Commissioners, distinguished guests. Last year we had the privilege and honor of highlighting I believe the culture and the body of what Overtown represents. We had over 7,500 guests to come to Overtown, enjoy music, arts, craft. These are some of the things that I believe that's important to a community that makes it vibrant and makes it live and make people want to come and enjoy it. So we would like to start the presentation so everyone can see, the commissioners can see exactly what we did last year in Overtown.
Actually, earlier this year.
This year. Commissioners and the body of the community of Overtown, I just wanted to show what can be done. The CR gave us a grant of, I believe, $75,000. This event cost us $113,000. What we did, Headline and Market Group and our crew, because we felt so sincere and passionate about showing a positive light on Overtown, we went in our own pocket and backed it. So I wanted to show the city what can be done if it's done right.
Sir, can you please announce your name for the record, please?
Musaddiq Muhammad.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Mr. Muhammad? Seeing none, thank you very much, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. For fellow board members, I want to thank you for actually being here today on December 29th, knowing that it's the holiday season, to have so many representation here about these important issues. So what I'd like to do is I want to make sure that we get to the reason that most of us are here, which is item number 12, Miami World Center. I understand that we're going to have significant discussion about those different items. So to do that, though, we want to make sure that we address the other items as well. And so what I would like to do, commissioners, if you will, what I'd like to do is open up the floor for public hearing on items 1 through 11 so that we can address and summarily approve all those items from 1 through 11. Once those items are approved, then we can open up the floor and begin our discussion on item number RE12. So by going 1 through 11, we don't have to discuss each one of them individually. We can do it similarly to how we handle our consent agendas on the Miami Commission. So if there is no objection, what I'll do is I'll open up the floor right now for discussion from the public on items RE1 through RE11. Only items RE1 through RE11. And so those items are what I'm inviting for discussion. Please do not discuss item RE12. So the public hearing will be for items RE1 through RE11. Madam Holmes, you're recognized.
Point of clarity, Commissioner, the chairperson. Would this be, normally there are 2 minutes, I guess, per item. So if someone has multi-items of those of us who are registered lobbyists, will we be able to address our items accordingly?
If you are a registered lobbyist and you properly registered before the clerk, then you'll be able to address the items.
But to my understanding,
I'm going to be very clear. So if you are here and you want to speak on a public hearing about these items, when you come to the podium, announce which item you are speaking on. You will have the time accordingly to speak on those items. Understood?
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So I'm going to open the floor right now at this point.
I'd like to get my paper I'll return.
There's actually, for RE 1 through 11. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on those items? Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on those items? Right. You're recognized, sir. Please announce your name for the record.
Good evening. I'm Irby McKnight. I live in Overtown for the last 45 years. I'm here on item number 9 because we need to support this business. It is a landmark in Overtown. It is a mainstay in Overtown, and it does provide employment opportunities for many years for people in the community who would probably not pass a background check. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're recognized, ma'am. May you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Jackie Bell, 1600 Northwest 3rd Avenue, item number 6. I thank you very much.
Good evening, Commissioners.
You're
My name is
recognized.
Agnes Morton, 1454 Northwest 43rd Street, and I wanted to speak on
Yes, ma'am.
two of them. The first one is on item 6. I want to support Ms. Jackie Bell and support her in the Folk Life Fridays. You know, I think the numbers have been increasing, and I think there needs to be probably more money allocated for outreach and for marketing. On item 9, again, the Lewis family has been an anchor in this community, and they employ a lot of people, and I would like to see that restaurant brought up to scale in terms of a fine dinner establishment. I think it's in the right location. I think it has the right history, and I patronize there, and when I go there, I always see a lot of people. So I would like to see it brought up to scale as a fine dinner establishment, and also to be rehabbed and whatever they're asking for, I hope they're able to get to improve it and to keep it as a large employer in this neighborhood. So thank you very much.
Thank
Chair,
you
if I
very
could get
much.
the speaker's name again?
Can you state your name again for the record, please?
Agnes, A-G-N-E-S, Morton, like salt. Okay.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Yes, sir, you're recognized.
Good day to the commissioners. How y'all guys doing? My name is Andre Williams, CEO of iUrbanTV.com, and also the founder and CEO of the newly found Overtown Media Hub, located at 175 Northwest 14th Street. And I just want to bring your attention to item number 4. I'm very interested in that item because as a company and as a community business, we've been doing a lot of marketing and re-imaging and helping shape the brand of Overtown through visual imagery. So I'm really concerned about that, and I want to see that go to, you know, people who are diligently putting in service in this community and making sure that this community is not only seen as a blighted, violent community, but also an uprising, uplifting community as well. And we like to initiate our Overtown for Life project. So I'm really interested in that, and I want to thank you guys for your attention. That's good?
Say
I
it
said
again.
everything. I need to say my name again or anything like that?
No, that's it. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am, you're recognized.
Good evening. Cecilia Stewart, 1899 Northwest First Court, and I support item number 6 for the Folk Life for Ms. Jackie Bell. And I would like to ask also for an increase in allocation of funds. I don't think that it's enough money to support what we're doing over there to draw the people, as well as to continue the excellence that's being provided with that Folk Life Festival. I also support item number 9, and I concur with Mr. Irby McKnight, as well as Ms. Agnes Morton. That's a historic landmark, and the family is very important to us, and so we want to preserve the jobs that they create. The business is a flourishing business, but they need more updated equipment. They need more modernized facilities to accommodate us. And when people come from out of state, they like to come to those type of places, to come to our community to support us. So please, upgrade that, provide the funds they need, and I support it wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Thank you. You're recognized, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, board members. My name is Peter Ehrlich. My address is 720 Northeast 69th Street, and I'm here speaking about item number 10. It's a property located at 173 Northwest 11th Street. And before approving it as a board, I hope you'll discuss it and discuss it with the public here today. I took a look at the property. It looks like a small building, 2,500 square feet with, it looks like little or no parking. And it looks like somebody just bought it a couple years ago for $90,000. And your board is deliberating over spending $1.25 million that would be going into this business. And it appears it'll be going into a property that the CRA doesn't own. As a business person, it seems like a massive amount of money going into a small property with little or no parking. So I hope you'll discuss it with the public before you vote on that item. That's number 10. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any other persons?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Grady Muhammad, President and CEO of Miami-Dade First, 6025 Northwest 6th Court. On the items, Mr. Clerk, I'm definitely going to need 2 minutes, please, sir. Mr. Chairman, in favor of literally just about every item, even the police department and the cameras. But I wanted to give you something in reference to the police department, because what we have and what we created, and I'm going to give it to the clerk for the record to enter to it. It's called the Peacemakers. The Peacemakers is a project that was funded by the CRA in 2008 as a pilot project, 5 months. The Deputy Chief Gomez will tell you, reduced calls to the police department by 88%. There was no murders, there was no crime. And it hired neighborhood residents. Why is one of the most successful programs at $150,000, least amount of money, $150,000, most successful program, hasn't been funded, refunded to stop crime, to stop murders, to stop drugs in Overtown, nowhere else? We have a commissioner with this thing later on with the emergency meeting at the Mount Sinai Church for emergency shootings. We have to have a master plan. Putting the money with the police department for cameras and central CCTV is great. But again, at the end, having people on the ground, having the community neighbors, residents that's working, residents that are also being able to connect the other residents with the services that they need, then you'll be able to reduce costs to the police by 88% like we did. But more importantly, you created jobs for residents in Overtown. You provided crime prevention, life-saving opportunities in Overtown. And if we don't be able to provide the necessary security in Overtown from the shopping center with their defecating and everything else, our investments are going to be lost. If we don't provide security along with the police, with the $1.275 million for the police department, if we don't provide that, it's a partnership, because right now the black community have no trust in the police, and those are the actual facts, period. So we got to get people who love the people, who respect the community, who respect the police, and work with the police to be able to make a change in this community. The other items, we got to ensure with the peoples, we got to start again. Like the black contractors, we have a lot of them. We got to ensure they get an opportunity to work on peoples, the Harlem Supper Club, and all of it. We'll talk about the master development agreement at that appropriate time. But we have to look at, with the cameras, it didn't do anything for Eric Garner. It was filmed. Nothing happened. It'll be on public streets. It's a right. It's CCTV. It's modeled after Israel. Britain has it. New York has it. It's a great program. But that shouldn't be the only thing. We should be looking at how we can be able to work with the residents, because it's the residents who are the eyes and the ears, not the cameras, not the police, but the community. And I'm, again, asking you to look at that proposal, look at the merits of the proposal, look at the success of the proposal, and then consider refunding it along with the police, because it was always, how can I put it? It was a partnership between peacemakers, the peace service workers, and the police departments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad. Please, decorum, please. Decorum. Decorum, please.
Good evening again, Madam Holmes, qualifying address 350 LeBray Place, your district, Commissioner Hardiman. It's a pleasure to be here. Happy New Year. And with that, I too agree that most of these projects are rewardable and may become a benefit to the community residents and performed by a few folks I know. But as always, being a woman, I separate the importance of certain others as opposed to the general thing that we do. To my business as an entrepreneur, as a resident, as an organizer, commissioners, I do feel that there's disproportionate attention being given to the biggest partner and the biggest resource and the assets in Overtown, and that we're losing those benefits because of the gentrification and the policing and the violence issue. I concur with Mr. Muhammad. However, we know that crime is not a poverty. But what is a crime is for those who benefit the most vulnerable not to be empowered. We are not just the peacemakers. Just yesterday, we took over 78 motorcyclists, Freemasons, doctors, lawyers, and seniors on a third-level phase trip, according to the assertive response in which I presented to you and the others. I am the creator of the ceasefire, by law and by fact. But note, I still do this work as a resident, and I do it very well. We work very well with the NROs and the partnership. I am also the woman who's advocated through Women in Poverty and Single Mother Head of Household Districts, who are always the victim and never the survivors. Well, if that's the case, there could be many more like me if I had the more resources. I think that this agency itself could benefit from putting some monies into those, because just like Liberty Square and the others that we rode through, we have 21 cameras at $100,000 apiece that have watched children die and women die underneath them. So I too must ask you for a balance. I too must ask you to proportionately put some money into these cameras. And let's remember, cameras are after the fact. They do nothing for prevention. We've put more than twice, or 200% more into the shot caller. After the shot, I just got a whole lot of dead bodies. So I concur with Mr. Muhammad. Peacemakers is more male-driven, but you are working with a population and have mission to improve the quality of life, the safety and health of myself and the women and children that I serve proficiently without those adequate resources. I know also that around your table that it is disproportionately men. Don't hate me, I'm not a feminist. I just know who does the job very well when it comes to single women head of household. And so with that, I'll leave you to yourself, gentlemen, to do what men do. However, the question is asked, what did those other cameras in Poor Women's Single District do? Have they saved us? No. I would like to question you, Mr. Chair, now, although I know I know you have quite a bit of an agenda, but would you address this entire board? What will you do for women in this district to directly empower them to protect themselves other than purchase cameras, which just give us movies about dying in urban and blight and slum areas? Thank you so much. I'm Madam Holmes with the Women's Association Alliance Against Injustice and Violence. If you have any interest in any other community-oriented policing due to our expertise, then you can ask me or you can ask the many mothers out here as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, everybody, please, everyone, listen. In the CRA meetings, people are going to give lots of passionate speeches. We cannot afford for everyone to clap after each speech. So in the CRA meetings, much like the county, we don't clap. So I'm asking that you refrain from clapping. Seeing no other persons here for public discussion, yes, we have one last.
Nathan Curlin, 3132 Day Avenue. Commissioners, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all very much. I'm talking about item number 4. This is in no way impugning Executive Director Woods. I serve on 6 boards of directors, and not on a single board does the Executive Director have, quote, in his sole discretion, the ability to give away up to $200,000 for whatever reason. I ask that this either be tabled or rejected. Thank you.
Seeing no other persons here for public hearing for items 1 through 11, we're going to close the public hearing at this time, and I'll open up the floor for the board members for discussion, or if there is a motion to approve items 1 through 11 and then have a discussion. Commissioner Gort?
A couple of questions. I'm in favor of the $1 million grant, but I'd like to see because I go to the restaurant and I buy the ribs there. They're very good, but I want to see how the funds are going to be used.
Well, Commissioner, all this item does is it allocates the money and it sets it aside. This is not requesting the expenditure. What is going to happen is we are working with the business owner. She has procured an architect. The architect is working on the plans that will create a scope of work as well as a schedule of values. Then they will bid those plans out. That would then come back to this board for approval for the expenditure. But this is basically a good faith measure to show her that we are actually, she's been kind of like the forgotten person in the community.
I think it's a great location. With everything that's happened over town, could be great. Look at Jackson Soul Food is doing. They're doing very good. They have the facility.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that they're very successful when they put the plan together.
And once we get those, the actual cost we have an idea. The architect have given us an idea of what the cost should be. Once we get those proposals, we will then come back to this board.
So what you're telling me is we're approving the funding
to set it aside.
To set aside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They have to come back to us for the
Yes.
final plan.
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Suarez?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, my question is similar, which is, it says in the backup that it's a 2,300 square foot property. I don't know that that's accurate because sometimes the property appraiser's office is not accurate. And the schematics look larger, but it's hard to tell without, obviously going out there and doing a survey of the property. But it's important to kind of explain, I think, why a property of that size needs an expenditure that large to complete?
Well, I think you're talking about a different property than what Commissioner Gord is talking
Well,
about.
you allocated $1 million in both properties. and
Right, sure.
That's a large amount of money.
Yes,
I'm talking about 10, I think it is.
I'm sorry?
I think I was talking about 10.
Yeah, you're talking about 10.
Yeah, or you're talking about a
It's
different
on 10. Go, it's on 10.
It was on
10.
6?
Well, 10 does have the backup in it. It does have all of the plans as well as, well, actually the renderings and a budget.
Yeah, and I mean, I looked through the budget, and I guess his point is that it seems like a large expenditure for a 2,300 square foot property, but the property looks larger than 2,300 square feet, even though that's what the tax roll has it at. I mean, it looks like significantly larger. I don't know that that's what it is or not.
It is large, well, let me not say it is, but I
Right.
think it is larger than the 2,300 square feet. It's actually a couple of properties. There is an additional property that's set off to the side. This is the old Clyde Killings house. What we've done a few months ago is we allocated money to rehab the Clyde Killings pool hall.
Right.
And I'm sure by now everybody knows who Clyde Killings is. But it's actually an eyesore right now in the community, and it has suffered quite a bit of damage with the homeless population congregating in and around the building. So the idea was to make it a signature type of
I like that.
club, and the expenses are,
Detailed.
yes, they are detailed in this.
And I didn't see one specific category that stuck out at me. It's just, I think the total amount for the size, I think there's a little bit of sticker shock there, and so, I would just, maybe it's a good, I mean, I don't have a problem voting in favor of it, because I know that the chair, and he should, and I think we all want to see things progress expeditiously in Overtown, and I think now more than ever. So I don't want to hold anything up, but I would like to meet with them and just get a sense for why it's going to cost that much money.
We can
Thank you.
have you meet with the owners.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion from the board members?
Yeah, let me just say on item number 6,
You recognize?
thank you. Just so you understand it, to put $1 million aside based on the amount of documentation we have,
Item number 6,
I'm sorry, 9.
oh, item number 9.
Right.
Again, what we're doing is we're allocating the funding. We will be back, once we get the actual cost. The reason we looked at $1 million is that there was some preliminary takeoffs by the architect. Once they get pricing, obviously, we believe that it will come in under $1 million, but as in any redevelopment project, there are some unforeseens or some unknowns. Generally, we do provide for unknowns in our budgets so that we don't have to come back to you guys if there is a cost that is much more than what we anticipate. But this way, we've set aside $1 million. We'll get the actual budget, and we'll come back to you.
Well, I'm, just to get my vote, Commissioner, I don't mind well, I shouldn't say I don't mind the allocation. I don't think there's adequate documentation for the allocation, but I may still vote for it since it's not going to be spent.
No, it's
However, as you and I saw this morning, there is a billboard on this particular site. We've been able to ascertain that billboard is part of that actual parcel.
Yes.
So, hang on. What I'd like to see is a budget of all the money this entity takes in and all the expenses it pays out, because I'd first want to justify the need to do this.
Since we've had that conversation this morning, I've done some additional due diligence regarding the billboard, and I'll be prepared to share that with you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Commissioner?
The one last thing is your marketing plan that you putting together.
Yes.
I want to make sure that this marketing plan takes in consideration all these new facilities that's being built, not only for the local people to visit, but you want people from the outside, especially with all the new construction that'll be taking place, to come to Overtown and spend their monies in Overtown.
Absolutely. And just because we did hear some comments from Andre Williams with iUrban, for clarity about this particular item, there is no particular vendor or, owner yet associated with this particular item. This is to set the funds aside. We will procure every service that we look to use this money for. Ideally, right now, what we're looking at is doing, because we've heard from you guys, from the board, that we have not marketed the redevelopment area in a way that it should be. One of the ideas that we were looking at using this funding for is to have a 3D virtual reality that would basically consist of a tour through the redevelopment area as it is now, and then it would go back and tour the area and repopulate the renderings or the actual tour with the actual buildings that are being built, with all the development that is actually happening now. So it would give a kind of before and after look, on a tour through the redevelopment area. That's one of the items that we're looking at using this funding for. We also are looking at doing commercial spots as well as rebranding the redevelopment area with our website. So it's a total marketing program that we will be procuring those services, and it's not just me, making those decisions on my own.
Okay. Any further discussion from the board members?
Neil Sharvell, Assistant Director of the CRA. On agenda item number 11, I just want you to know that there is no specified amount on item 11. So you can pass it in general and we'll deal with it later. But there is no specified amount on that item. So I just want you to know when you vote on these collectively, I'd like to be a little more specific on agenda items.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion from the board members? Any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, I'd like to ask the board for a motion and a second to approve items number RE 1 through 11.
So moved.
Second has changed and informed,
As
the
a
way we're
modified
informed, that they're coming back to us.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we accept and approve agenda items RE 1 through 11. Is there any further on readiness? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.